Dear witches, staying up to date with the moon? Seeking reminders to re enchant your daily life? Subscribe to the Modern Witches newsletter for lunar updates and inspiration for working with our personal and collective phases of transformation. Not only do we send out digital spells, astrological insights, and witchy love notes, our newsletter also showcases the incredible magical community that Modern Witches has fostered throughout the years. Have a course or offering you'd like to share with magical babes? Want to share your art with those who will be most touched by its magical themes? Learn more about promoting your work on our newsletter at modernwitches.org/community-marketing. Find the link in show notes. Hello and welcome to the Modern Witches podcast. I am Casey Zavala, interdisciplinary artist and intuitive witch, and I am here today with Karima, astrologer of the Cosmic Vibe.
Hi, everyone.
I'm so delighted to have Karima back with me for Taurus season.
God, I cannot believe it's been 4 months, right? 4 months that we're
Yeah.
out. I feel like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. But like we were trying to plan out this episode with Casey, and I was just like, how I'm gonna do with my life now. 2 kids, how I'm gonna schedule my life. It's such a different vibe now. But
Immense.
we're doing it. We're doing it.
Here we
Casey,
are.
make it happen. That's manifestation just right here.
Yeah.
That's
Mom
good.
manifestation. I love it.
Yes, exactly.
No, I feel like everyone has a different version of being in such like a pressure cooker right now. I feel like
Hmm
just the
hmm
astrology has been incredibly intense, collectively and personally. And I think it feels really good to be able to come together with you and with our listeners and sort of do these grounding exercises is what it feels
hmm
like to me. Just to go through the upcoming astrology, the energy of the moment, the wheel of the year, and try to be present with it all because it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting to like, I was listening to podcasts, different podcasts and all that, but it was very interesting to see the astrology being unfold in the collective, like in major world event. Because I feel like we were like predicting this for all 2025, that 2026 is going to be big. There's those big conjunctions, there's a big transits happening, but it's always weird when it really happened, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh God, and you feel, if it still feel very sure, even if like you warned, like but still when it happened, it can like feel like a shakeup. So you like, feel like it's so good to have the community and to be able to talk about it freely, to talk about our fears, to talk about what is happening in the world without filters. Uh, I just feel it's important to be able to listen to people that are on our side, and talking
Right.
to you. Obviously, it's a privilege to be able to do that podcast and really talk about it with our listeners. But it's like it is challenging and it's crazy, and it's like 2020. Everybody knew with those conjunctions that it's gonna be big, but when it
Hmm.
happened, we're like, what is
Yeah.
that?
Mm.
So yeah, I feel like obviously there's also so much happening during Taurus season. Is more calm, yes, but there's still
Yeah.
a big major shift happening.
Hmm.
And I feel like we're just at the beginning of this new era that in astrology that everybody kind of agree on,
Right.
no matter in what like political belief you have or what like philosophy you have or ideology, like you will everybody knows there's a big shift here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like Taurus season is, I mean, it's an earth sign season. It's ruled by Venus. And I do think that this season gives us a bit more breathing room to kind of integrate everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
But before we dive in, because I want to just go,
Yeah.
um, I just want to share a few announcements at the top of the episode because Modern Witches is going to be hosting a Beltane happening or two Beltane
Woo!
events in Oakland. We're so excited.
Hmm.
So on May 1st at the Sunshine Prophecy in Oakland, California, we'll be hosting a ritual show evening. I'll be leading a community Beltane ritual. We'll have a community altar space, and then we'll have two performers. We have Rohini Muradi joining us to share music from their upcoming album.
Woohoo.
And then we also have Sour Widows joining us to do a duo set. And so it's going to be very magical, witchy, just community space to be in the magic of the moment together on Beltane under the Scorpio full moon.
That's
So it's going to be
crazy.
lovely,
It's just
right?
like the touch of it, the Scorpio full moon.
Yes,
Couldn't ask for a more witchy full moon, like
I know. It's
and
perfect.
and he's a
Ideal.
nice one. I feel like he's a nice, very transforming one. We're gonna talk about it, obviously, but
Yeah. No, I
it's
feel
a
like it's good.
it's a very and I'm just stop talking because if I go into it, I will talk about this full moon. So hold your horses. But yeah, I'm very excited about the event, and I'm so grateful
Yeah.
that you're all doing it and organizing it. I know it's a lot of work, logistic, and all that. So.
It is, but it's fun to do something creative. And then we'll also be hosting a marketplace on May 3rd. So from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., you can join us at the Sunshine Prophecy,
Okay.
and we'll have vendors, we'll have readers. I'm going to be doing readings at the event, which I'm excited about. Um, it's going to be really, really a special crew of witches coming together. So don't miss that, a chance to support your fellow witches. And you can find all of this on our website at modernwitches.org. So, hope to see you soon in person. And
Hmm.
if you're not in Oakland or can't join us, always consider becoming a member of our Patreon. It funds this podcast, allows us to keep doing this work. And we're going to be hosting our next Coven Circle Power Hour on June 18th, right before the summer solstice. So join us online for that Coven Circle opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. We like just a little note on that. We're I'm so grateful that we have that Patreon that kind of like fuel this podcast because without
Mhm.
this, we won't be able to keep going. And so I want to be thankful and say thank you and send all my gratitude to people who support us every day. That's really means a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone who supports
Mhm.
us. And we love hearing from you. So feel free to send us an email, shoot us a DM on Patreon, and let's connect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, announcements complete. Um, let's get
Let's
into Taurus season.
Yeah, I like Taurus season because I'm always excited about this the new year, astrological new year, Aries, but it can feel sometimes very volatile, like a lot thing happening. And because this year is not the same as every year, we have Neptune, we have Saturn, we have big a social planet, a generational planet that are coming together, which create a lot of energy, really fiery, really Aries energy in your face. So it can be very intense. And so when you enter like kind of Taurus season and the sun shift kind of this gear, like we enter a moment when the magic can become slower, you can embody it, you can be more intentional about it. And this is the part of the zodiac wheel where we ask what is actually sustainable and what I can tent, build, and grow over time. And so all the superficiality, everything that the ideas that we have along every season, it's kind of like with Taurus season, we kind of focus on what really matter and what we really want to build and kind of shred all those ideas into one only, and look, or try to pick two or three instead of 10. And I think the sun entering Taurus help us do this. And yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the sort of expansion that's happening in Aries season and also this intuitive pull to like refocus and reground, reprioritize.
Hmm.
Um, and I think what's beautiful about Taurus season, or one of the things, it's, a Venus ruled season. And so we'll talk more about Venus in our two Taurus season episodes, but Venus as like a focal point for your intention setting, for your inner work, for your
Mm-hmm.
spiritual work, I think would be a really like lovely practice, especially because so much is in turmoil and upheaval and change. Venus is beauty, it's art, it's justice,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and our value systems. And so I think reconnecting with whatever it is that brings you value and
Mm-hmm.
worth in your life and centering that right now
Mm-hmm.
could be a super powerful kind of like metric to use.
Yes. And I like that the compass is Venus because it
Hmm.
is when the sun entered Taurus. And Venus is going to enter Gemini, and I think again we're going to talk about it later, but it's having this touch of Gemini when we know Uranus is going to go to Gemini.
Hmm.
And I know you did a beautiful podcast with Thea about it that is going to be up at the time that we publish this episode. Um, it's very talk about a lot about this combination of earth and air, and talk about how we can create magic, anchor in, the land and the soul, and being grounded and built slowly and be intentional with the power of words, and
Hmm.
spell work, and how our words and our spell, like uh, I would say our writing, everything that we do with word, spell writing, everything's going to be more enhanced because we have this Venus in Gemini really fueling this Sun in Taurus.
Mm.
And so, very helping us anchor what we really want. So, the magic around this season is really through spell work, through like writing and actually saying it out loud what you want to create, what you want to do, what you want to manifest. And it's also about using our voice. It's a lot about our voice in that season that is going to be very important with Venus and Gemini, because it's like about being clear and having this this clearness about what we want, and being clear with ourselves about where we want to go and
Right.
where we want to find joy, because Venus is joy, is union, is arts, and it's about expressing it in different ways through arts, like you mentioned, and how we can relate to one another through this. And then also, I want to say that because the sun is entering Taurus and we don't have Uranus anymore, it's going to stay a little bit and it's going to move to Gemini. Taurus season was always about grounding, but with Uranus in it, it was always flaky. For the past 7 years, it was hard to plant roots. It was hard
Hmm.
to be able to build something that is consistent because Uranus was so flaky and kind of stopping us from doing something in the long run. And it was about changing. It's about freedom, what I can do. It's about figuring out where we can grow. And now that it's moving, it's like, okay, that give us the space actually, and the electricity or the monkey mind that we used to have about all those ideas is gonna slow down. It's
Mm.
entering Gemini, so it's again air sign is gonna happen, but it's not gonna stop us from actually planning this thing and let it grow slowly. It's
Mm.
actually we're gonna have the time and the space to do it, I think.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, you're reminding me that I taught a workshop at Scarlet Sage in 2018 about Uranus moving into Taurus. And it was a tarot workshop.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I was there. I was there. I remember this. I still have the
I've got to go
spread.
back to my notes. Yeah,
I
I've got
still
to go
have
back to
the
my
spread.
spread.
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
have the spread.
If you were there, dear listener,
Yeah,
hope you can look at your tarot reading from that evening. It'd be so interesting to see what
yeah,
came through. But
yeah.
it is a good time to like reflect on maybe the Taurus area of your chart.
Mm-hmm.
What has shifted? Like what has been activated in that part of your chart since
Yeah.
2018? Because there's been a lot of movement. I'm laughing because I'm a Taurus rising. Like, wow. So go take a look, reflect.
Yeah.
Uranus will be moving out of Taurus on the 25th of April. So it's really just, 5 days into Taurus season, we have Uranus moving into Gemini. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that is the major kind of like highlight shift. I
Yeah.
think, and like we said, like this, for so many reasons, this Taurus season feels kind of like a grounding. It feels more supportive than
Yeah.
maybe the other 4 months of 2026. Um, I think because we've already had a taste of Uranus moving into Gemini um, over last summer in 2025. And so you can also think about that. You think it was moving into Gemini in like June or July of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But you can think about like what kind of happened there for you, the Gemini placement of your chart, what is being activated in this Uranian way, and bringing
Yeah.
some kind of like brilliance or intelligence forward to help you, yeah, make change for the better. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget, like the sun in Taurus is your friend about like just resetting your nervous system. It's gonna be great
Mhm.
for that. Like everything that you can think of, your allies, plants, crystal that can reset your nervous system during that time, especially when sun is in Taurus. It's very helpful. It's like the moment to root before the wind is changing direction when Uranus is going to Gemini's, it's
I
a
love
very
it.
integrational like point. Like,
Yeah. No, it's so true. Get into your garden, go into nature,
mhm.
like return to like a more elemental practice with your witchcraft, maybe. Um,
And
yeah.
I have all the time I'm trying to remember during Taurus season that like growth take times, pleasure
Mhm.
is sacred, stability is a spell you cast daily. That's basically my three things. Like
Whoa. Okay.
because I have so much fire in me and barely any earth,
Mm,
sorry, that is
mm,
like always a constant craving that I'm having, and always it's one of the more important practice that I have in my witchcraft because it's like that's my missing part that I'm
mm.
seeking. So it's very important for me. Yeah.
It's such a good spell.
Mm.
Growth takes time.
Times pleasure is sacred and stability is a spell you cast daily.
I love this. We could just end the episode right there.
With that.
Okay, amazing. Well, okay, so we're doing our episode a little bit differently. We're trying out something new. We're not going to go so nitty-gritty into every astrological transit, but we're
Hmm.
going to pull out the highlights for you. And we're really going to focus on the lunations.
Hmm.
So in this episode, we'll really be focusing on the full moon, Scorpio full moon on May 1st. And then in Taurus season part two, we'll focus on the new moon.
Hmm.
Um, but we're going to start just pulling out some important astrological dates for you and giving you just like a keyword or two to ground into this energy.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Casey, but we're doing always in 2 weeks increments, right? If this episode is about the first week of the
Yes.
season, and then okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that will help guide you. And we'll put the transits in the show notes so you can
Yeah.
also look there for some grounding.
Hmm.
So Taurus season begins on the 19th of April.
Hmm.
Um, And then just a day later, we have Saturn conjunct Mercury in Aries on the 20th. So, Saturn conjunct Mercury, I would say, there could be like some frustrations in communication, the need for patience or pause.
Yeah. It's gonna be Mercury wants to go fast in Aries, and so Saturn is here to bring a stop, basically saying
Yeah. Pull back the reins a little bit.
exactly. And so it kind of vibe with the sun entering Taurus because it's like
Hmm.
be careful with your words. Not everything needs to be said. You know, listen more than talk.
Yes.
Basically, this is that kind of ground yourself, listen more than talk, take 5 seconds before answering, all this kind of stuff. That's where
Yeah.
you can apply it. You
Love
know.
it. All good practices. Like to go
Yeah.
back to Karima's spell for the episode, growth is slow. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And then on the 23rd of April, Venus will be conjunct Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. This transit kind of excites me just because we're at the aneretic degree of Taurus,
Yeah,
with Venus conjoining Uranus. And I always think of Venus and Uranus together as just kind of like fireworks.
yeah.
Um, and it's kind of like a beautiful last hurrah moment for Uranus and Taurus because I do
Mm,
think it's a kind of a reminder of like, oh, like are, is your genius aligning with your values, right? Like, are
mm,
you really doing the sacred work you're called to do? Like, are you in
yeah.
alignment with your values here? And how can you like really express that in a way that's powerful?
Yeah, and this is the last time Venus will conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and
Hmm.
Venus feels great in Taurus. We know it belongs to Taurus.
Hmm.
So when it comes with Uranus, is also like trying something new. It's like sparkling ideas that like are new and innovative and that can bring you joy in different ways. Something that you would maybe not even have conscience, like had conscience. Oh my God, here we go. My
Conscious,
way.
yeah.
Thank you. Of it, and so this is also a great time to see like I like to do internal work with that type of conjunction because it bring me like surprises. Be surprised that
Mm,
day. Do something that is like it's not usually what you're doing. It's a nice
yeah.
transit for that. It's being surprised, but like in the nicest way, and like being surprised by something you were like, oh, I didn't know I would have liked this. It's also sexually
Hmm.
a good day to try stuff, just to let
Yeah.
you know, just to let you know that.
I
And it's
mean, it's
very
Taurus season.
earthy,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a good
So,
time. Yeah. So, and then just the next day, Venus will move into Gemini on the 24th of April.
yeah. And yeah, it's also, Venus again, we say that rules Taurus. So when it comes to Gemini, is very flirtation, curiosity, social
Hmm.
expansion, playful connection. Every of those topics going to be highlighted with Venus and Gemini. Venus and Gemini like to play. It's going to be the
Hmm.
player, it's going to be flirting, enjoying different thing, being here and there. This is very like a very light vibe. Like I like this. Venus and
Hmm.
Gemini. Yeah.
We need it, you
Hmm.
know? I do think Taurus season hits and it's like, oh yeah, we need to practice joy. We need to
Yeah.
get back into alignment with what is playful and what is,
Yeah.
you know, brings us to kind of a sense of our inner child as well, like
Yeah.
just being able to experiment and explore. So I think
Hmm.
Venus and Gemini will really encourage that.
And because is going to be in Gemini mostly all the way until for Taurus season, it's going to be in Venus is going to be in Gemini, and so he's going to have this direction of um, the element of air. It's very magically in terms of like doing a ritual or anything that is good for you and your body. It's really about again like I said with Uranus and Gemini, it's like words becoming spell, like
Hmm.
conversation becomes portals, like attraction happen through ideas and voice. It's like everything related to communication is going to be very strong. And so it's incredible for networking, also storytelling, podcasting, all of that. When Venus is in Gemini, that's very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I do
Hmm.
think it's like really, it's such a time to acknowledge the potency of your words. And if you are someone who hasn't been or isn't in the practice of like speaking prayers out loud or like saying your spells out loud, this is a good time to just get into that practice and try it out. Start
Yeah.
reading the things you're writing out loud and
Prayer.
talking.
Prayer is
Yeah,
going to be a big thing.
yeah.
Like talking out loud to whatever you believe in, God, angels, guides. Like
Hmm.
it's gonna be something that is very going to be very important for your body, but also for the world that you don't see. Because remember that this axis, Taurus and Scorpio, we know what Venus is in Gemini, but this axis where the sun is in Taurus, and really we have Scorpio, the opposite. This season is about you, the real world and the invisible world. I always say, like, it's your unconscious versus your conscience, and it's very about the magical, like what is real and what is magical and visible. So it's to play between those two worlds that's going to be interesting during this season.
Yeah. And I think too, there's something about, I guess I'll talk about this in a sec. We have, on the 25th or on the 24th, Venus moves into Gemini, and then the day later, Venus or Uranus moves into Gemini as well. And so I think it's kind of cool that there's a way that Uranus and Venus are like moving together into Gemini, because
Mm-hmm.
my sense of things is that it's Uranus and Gemini is going to really amplify um, technological advancement
Yeah.
and with the uptick in AI, and the like, I think it's like a Pandora's box of AI that's being opened. With
Mm-hmm.
Venus there, my hope is that people are a little bit more discerning about like how technology is in alignment with their value system
Mm-hmm.
and how it serves us, both personally and collectively.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how that all progresses. But, technology is not just computers and data centers. Like, technology is also your writing and your spell work and
Yeah.
weaving and gardening. And so I think it'll be an interesting time to really dig into like all the skills that you have and the ones that you want to develop.
Yeah. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, Uranus is going to Gemini the next day on April 25th.
Hmm.
And this kind of those two, like, going together
Hmm.
into Gemini sign. And yeah, it's like we said, it's one of the most important transit of the year. We are going for 7 years. And
Hmm.
like, I think people that are listening to this podcast already heard us so many times talking about this. But yeah, it's a huge shift, not only because Uranus is going to Gemini, but because there's also Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, and all of those are talking to each other. They are in a sign that are, like, we say, an harmonious aspect with each other. So, like you mentioned, it Venus going to with Uranus in the sign of Gemini, even if it's just for a little bit, that gives the tone and like kind of like help us see Uranus in a different light, but also help those harmonious transit to shift in this new world in the most graceful way, may I
Yeah.
say.
Hmm.
Um,
Please.
Please.
Yeah.
But it's true, like it's create a powerful, again, fire plus air element that is like Aries is very about initiation, identity, action, and Gemini is about communication, network, and Aquarius is the collective. So it's a personal link to the collective. Like, it's a very about that. Even it's like generational planet, social planet, they're not personal planet like Venus, Mercury, all of that, but it's still planets that are will be impactful in our personal life and in our collective life. And even if it's tough right now, I do believe, I still have hope that it's chaos before improvement. It's chaos before we regulate ourselves. It needs to be
Yeah.
chaotic before we can find our path again. Because the world doesn't work anymore. The world that we're living in doesn't work anymore. We are coming to consciousness that, like, so many fields are like corrupt. We've been abused and abused again. And it's interesting to see even Jupiter in Cancer, how child pornography, pedophilia, all of that
Hmm.
came up with Jupiter in Cancer, which we think is nurturing. Yeah, it's the mother nurturing the children, it's the great mother. And so having all those things coming up, people being more aware just of this, being more aware of corruption, being more aware of war with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. There's so many different think that people will be aware money wise. Uranus and Taurus is really about money, where's money is going, or
Hmm.
where it was going. I feel like we're shifting to a new world that we need to explode before just even being rebuilt. That's my feeling about this right now. But
Yeah. No, it's real. It's
I know
very
it's hard
real.
to, it's hard to talk about chaos because so many people die and hurt, and like it's like, is that really something we have to go through right now? Like, it's a very intense time, but I
Yeah,
just try to see the light, at the end, and see. I hope it's gonna be to build a new world. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, yeah, and I think it's up to each of us to kind of like dig into and fortify the world we want to be living
yeah,
in rather than
yeah,
feeding these corrupt, toxic mindsets and systems.
yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, every little bit helps, and it helps to be open-eyed about it, to be aware. And I think that's what, Uranus and Taurus really did for us is
Mm-hmm.
cause enough destabilization so that it was abundantly clear, like that
Mm-hmm.
the world order is corrupt and toxic and colluding against the
Yeah,
masses.
yeah.
Um,
And it's very about like decentralizing knowledge. All of that is about
mhm.
this. Is about independent voices. It's about new media ecosystem. It's about collective movement. So many things is merging. Good things are merging through like those events. So it's like
Yeah,
they don't hold the same power anymore. That's gonna be this. I think it is like the power
right.
that used to hold power is losing it. And yeah, even how we manifest magic right now is gonna, I feel, change.
Hmm.
When magic was mostly like with Uranus and Taurus, I think magic was more slow and unpredictable. I feel like with magic is becoming mental and verbal and energetic with Uranus. It's becoming more electric through, like I said many times before, like words. And like again, I'm just very focused on the like spell casting, breeze, sound, vibration, naming thing into existence is gonna be key probably for magic and for
Yeah,
witchcraft.
I think you're totally on the right track. And I think the thing that really stands out to me about where we're headed is this piece about discernment and focus. Because I think, we've all known that like algorithms cast their own spells.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all been beholden to algorithms in various like places in our lives and various
Mm-hmm.
platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the advent of AI is awakening like this whole nother set of um, algorithmic choices and spells. And I just want to caution people who are using it for psychological or spiritual development because it's not built for that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a safe space for that. I'm just going to be totally like opinionated about it. Um, I do think it's a hyper mind, the
Mm-hmm.
AI, and the proliferation of it is going to have drastic effects on our economy and people's ability to care for themselves and all of this. And so I just want to make sure that, when you're thinking about your own livelihood or the livelihood of another people or these systems and the way you're casting spells, what you're putting your spiritual energy into, that it feels protected and safe. Like when
Yeah.
I cast a spell, when I use words in my spells, very, very particular about my word choice.
Okay.
Similarly, like the reason why I had to like leave social media is because like I knew that my words, my information, whatever I was sharing there, intentional or not, was not being treated with intention by the algorithm. And so I just like cautionary note of like,
Yeah.
okay, let's be cautious about how we're using magic and technology here.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Makes sense totally.
I have a list of ways you can use or a list of things that you can do instead of going to AI for spiritual guidance on my Substack. So if you're currently using AI for your tarot readings or astrology, I encourage you to check out the list. It's going to be
Yeah.
growing over time. So
I know. I just because I had clients to come up and say, "Oh, I think my chart is wrong. I have Cancer rising or whatever they say." And many, it's not only one. It's a couple of people, and I'm like, "No, you're not." Like so many mistakes have been done through, like you were saying, going toward AI to do your reading, which is so helpful. It can be so helpful for many people because they have answer right away, which I totally understand. But they do a lot of mistakes too, just in that. Just by facts, just if we want to talk
Yeah.
about just minimum facts, it's just like I hear so many people around me, no, I have this, and I say, no, that doesn't mean this. Just reformulate the question. You're going to see they're going to say the same thing as I'm saying. And so it's a very tricky world that is not really,
Smoke and
even in,
mirrors.
yeah, even in facts, even in like what is true, like it's do many mistakes, a lot of mistakes. So,
And this could
um,
be Uranus and Gemini, right? Like
yeah,
the trickster Uranus in
yeah,
Gemini, like the field of communication and multiplicity and like
yeah,
just like layers of information. And
yeah,
so this is like the thing that I think is so important that you're highlighting is like the need to like cast spells and
mm,
focus on your words and communication. Like make sure you're in your integrity with all of it and checking your intuition with all of it.
yeah.
Okay, so the next major transit we're going to talk about is the full moon in Scorpio.
Hmm. I love this woman, Scorpio. Of course, I love. Of course, of course, of course. It's just that first of all, of course, it found Beltane. So,
Amazing
wow, I
timing.
mean, amazing timing. It's a great portal energy day that you can use to really enjoy this. You know, this
This,
Beltane. So that's
yeah,
it. You know, but I like it because I always like full moon in Scorpio because like for witches is really a time to be able to go deeper into what was really going on with us and not really going on the surface, kind of opening the door to transformation, intimacy, power, and then unseen. So that's what Scorpio governs, you know, and then of course it depends of where in your chart is falling into, in which houses, but while Taurus is building, Scorpio is really relieving what must be released. And with full moon, we always talk about releasing and let it go.
mhm.
And Scorpio is definitely the sign that can help you doing this. Scorpio doesn't just ask you to let go, it just exposes the energetic entanglements you are still bound to. And so it's very good to see attachment that you have rooted in fears or desire you have been suppressing or power dynamics that drain you or control you and you were not really able to see. And this full moon, like the sun basically put the light on the moon, gonna highlight all of that. And so it's a great couple of days to see all of those, like I say, attachment to rooted fears or desire that's to suppress or the power dynamics that control you or drain you.
Mm,
So yeah, it's not a gentle clarity with the full moon in Scorpio. It's really like it's kind of gonna feel true in your body. The sun is in
mhm.
Taurus, it's literally your body. So
Emotional. Yeah.
yeah, when Taurus is saying build, build, old and grow, like the Scorpio is saying purge, shred, and
Mhm.
transform.
Yeah, I think it's so, I mean, I was like, this is why witches love this moon. It's like the
Yeah,
intensity of it, right? And I
yeah.
think the real permission to be in the depths of your experience with the
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio moon is like really powerful. Scorpio moons hold secrets, and they expose secrets. And so there can be kind of this like invitation into these unconscious understandings of self, of experience that's really potent. Um, and what I really love about this full moon is we also have Venus and Saturn forming a sextile on this on this full moon.
Hmm.
So Venus in Gemini sextiling Saturn in Aries at 9 degrees. Um, and Venus being the ruler of Taurus, like they're in conversation in harmonious aspect with Saturn. I feel like there's a way that whatever you are shedding or becoming aware of or integrating at this time, um, is like a lasting, make forms like a lasting impression. There's a way in which it's really grounded in something that feels in alignment. There's like this like blessed quality to
Hmm.
whatever like is illuminated and shed at this time that feels really
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah. And it's like we have this nice sextile, but we also have um Mars that ruled this lunation
Mhm.
and is right next to this Saturn.
Mhm.
Not next, but it's close enough. So we have still another Aries energy layer into that full moon. And it's very about this Mars energy is bringing you courage to what you were describing, Casey, cutting edges and cutting a thing that doesn't serve you anymore.
Cord
Uh,
cutting. This is a cord cutting moon.
exactly. And so we have this Mars that's helping this sextile, like that give you courage, instinct, desire to do it, and sometimes anger to clarify this anger,
Mhm.
this energy that helps you cut cut it. And it feels like emotion that arise during this full moon is like is very moving. It's not something to stay still, it's something to take action on. So
Right. Yeah.
uh, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, to add to the layers of this, we also have Mercury conjunct Chiron, or yeah, Mercury conjunct Chiron here in Aries.
Mm,
Um, and so I do feel like all the things that you do feel like you're healing or cutting, like you said, like the things that you're clarifying, and the things that feel like tender and vulnerable are also just like more accessible to us at this full moon. Um, And so, like, there's a high intensity, there's support, energetic support for the work of like cutting away what needs to be cut,
yeah.
um, and a clarity about your healing trajectory. And
Hmm.
so, as Karima's been talking about, like, full moons are about release, purging, especially with this Scorpio energy.
Hmm.
Um, and I invite you to really be clear about what the purging and the releasing is guiding you towards. So,
Yeah.
trying to kind of like really be aware of the spiral arc of your healing at this moment.
Hmm.
Um, what is really present for you here that needs to be shed so you can move forward?
Yeah. And just to finish on that note, I like the fact that I feel like it's like magically it's meeting the warrior energy meeting with the underworld. It's like you're not just releasing, you're also taking your power back to do
Yeah,
so.
love
So
it.
it's a very powerful, like really about yourself and taking the power back into your body and your decision making. And it's, with Beltan, like the Scorpio full moon in Beltan, it's also about erotic power. It's also about shadow plus desire integration. It's also about
Yes.
fertility through transformation. Those two are really like combining each other because there's a death and rebirth with Beltane. It's kind of this flower growing. So it's like you need to cut the
Mm.
edges to see the flower actually happening. So
Yes. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to put a pin on that because
yeah.
I have so much to say, and we're going to start our next episode with like a little bit of a deep dive into Beltane and
Hmm.
that life death axis of Taurus and Scorpio is so alive in the celebration. So
Yeah.
we will be talking about that. So tune
Hmm.
into our part 2 of Taurus season for more Beltane magic.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Karima, for
Thank you.
spending this time.
Our first episode back.
We
Oh,
did
my
it.
first episode. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening. And as always, if you got something out of this episode, please share it with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Blessed be.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Modern Witches podcast. We hope you've been inspired to cultivate your own magic and to craft your own spiritual practices. Let us know what sparked your curiosity by leaving us a comment on this episode or leave us a review. And don't forget to subscribe to the show so that you never miss an episode. Your feedback and engagement truly fills our cups. If you're looking for more ways to gather with your fellow witches, please support our work on Patreon. Learn more at modernwitches.org. Blessed be.